For this EasyArt index separation routine, we're going to use an Illustrator file. So the first thing I'm going to do is open the Illustrator file in Photoshop. Now if we take a look at the file here, you can see that this particular Illustrator file includes the entire t-shirt. Now we only want to use the design, not the entire t-shirt. Now you can in fact go back to Illustrator, open the file there, remove the t-shirt and adjust the image size to the print size, because when you open this image in Photoshop you want to open it at the print size. You don't want to make any alterations to the size in Photoshop. Now rather than do all of that, I'm just going to open the file much larger than I require it, so then I can crop it back down to the size I'm going to use. Now so I'm going to make the image 33 inches wide, 200 pixels per inch is our resolution. Now the 200 pixels per inch, that's the resolution that determines the size of the squared dot that we're going to output with. In this particular image with the index separations, you don't use a halftone, you print out the little squared dots. Now if we look up here, we've got the anti-alias box. It's very important that you uncheck that. If you don't uncheck that, you'll get pixelated edges around all of your designs. So we'll uncheck that. We've got a large image and it's at 200 pixels per inch. RGB color, 8-bit. So we'll open that in Photoshop. Now you can see we've included the t-shirt and everything. So the first thing, we'll just quickly check the size. 33 inches, 200 pixels per inch, that all looks pretty good. So the first thing I'm going to do is crop that image, remove the t-shirt. This is the easy way to do it. And then we'll just check that size now. 12.36 inches across. That's about the size we want to print onto the t-shirt. So that's a standard RGB image. One layer, standard RGB image. If we just have a quick look in the layers list, any images you separate with EasyArt, you've got to have a single layer image. When we look in the channels list, it's a standard RGB image. Now if we move on to the separation routine, we scroll down to the EasyArt separation blue buttons and we come down to index separations. First thing you have to do is select the index colors. So I'm going to click on button 1. It says your image should be between 150 and 200 dpi. This one's 200 dpi, so that's about right. Now first thing it's asked me, select color 1. So I'm going to select the, you may want to zoom into the image before you start this particular routine, but I can see pretty much everything from here, so I'm just going to click on. I'm selecting the light skin first. Select color 2, we'll go for the medium skin. These colors that I'm selecting out here, I'm pretty much telling EasyArt what colors we're going to screen print this design with. So select color 3 is the dark skin. It's all pretty much guesswork, but when this image is forced to an index print, how accurate it is to the original image is determined by how good you are at selecting these colors. It does take a little bit of practice, but becomes very easy after a while. Select color 4. We've got two very prominent reds there, so we'll select the light red. Select color 5, we'll select the dark red. Now we're going to select 3 different grays. We can see we've got a lot of blends in the gray here, so now to get a very accurate reproduction we're going to print 3 different grays. So the first thing I'll do is select the very light gray. That looks pretty good. Then I'll select the medium gray. And now I'm going to select the dark grey. This is color 8. Dark grey, looks like the background there is pretty dark. We'll use that one. Now that's all the colors I'm going to select out of the image. You don't have to select the black or the white. That is done automatically for you. So I'm going to stop the routine there. You can see the EasyArt button is stopped halfway through the routine. It will continue to allow you to select colors up to about 16, 17 colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm just reset that button back to blue. Now the next thing we have to do, we'll just have a quick look. If you have a look over to the left here, you can see EasyArt has created this color palette. Now what we're basically going to do here, what EasyArt is going to do for you here, if we have a look at the original image, this is a standard RGB image made up of millions of colors. And this color palette, those are the colors I just selected out of the image. Now what EasyArt is going to do is going to force that millions of colors down to only these 9 colors, 10 including black. And those are going to be our index colors. So what I'm going to do now is click on, make sure you have this image selected, not that one. And then I'm going to click step 2, convert image to index. Now EasyArt is going to automatically force that color palette onto this image. It says there, do not change any of the settings in the next box. All you do is click OK. Routine complete. Your image is now an indexed RGB file. Do not modify this image in any way. If you want to make changes, you must start with the original RGB image and begin at step 1. So what that's basically saying is if you've selected the wrong colors in the design and it doesn't look right over here, go back to the beginning, start again. Don't try and modify the image. Start from the beginning. Now that looks pretty close. In fact, they look identical. So what I'm going to do is close down the original image, and we're going to work on the indexed image. This image here has been indexed, so if we zoom right in, you can see it's been converted into little square dots, and there are only 10 colors in that print. When we're finally finished with this design, it's going to be a 9-color print. Index images usually are quite a high number of print colors, but you do get a very accurate reproduction. Now if we look at the top here, you can see EasyArt has added that color palette to the top of the design. That's really just to make it easier for you to select the colors out. When we separate in the next routine, we have to individually select the colors out of the design, and that color palette up the top there just makes it easy to do that. Now a little tip here, which is not in the book, is I'm going to make a copy of that color palette up there. And I'm just going to put it down in the corner here where I can get to it during the next part of the routine. This is, like I said, this is a tip that's not in the book. You don't have to do this, but it can be quite helpful. Now we come to step 3, separate index image. Now the first thing EasyArt is going to do is create the white base. Now we have to make sure the input and output resolutions are identical, or your white base will be created at the wrong size. The method here, use diffusion dither. A lot of images, index images, you'll use diffusion dither. In this particular case, I want a very solid white base, so I'm going to use 50% threshold. Now whether or not you use the threshold or the dither just comes with experience. You'll have to run a few routines and try it out a bit before you know exactly what kind of white base you do want, but you do get the option to pick either way. So EasyArt's automatically creating that white base. Now it's asking me to start selecting the colors that are in the design. And as I select them, EasyArt will automatically separate that out of the design and create a separated channel for it. So the first one is the light skin. So I'll just type in light skin. You can call it anything you like, up to you. You can give it a Pantone number if you have one. Now this is where I click on this little box I've made earlier. Just speeds things up a bit. You don't have to do that, but it does help. Color 2 is the medium skin. I'll just race through these. It does seem a very manual way of doing everything, but to get the best results, the more manual input you have in index, the better. And that's the dark skin. It is always a good idea to give these colors quite a specific name so you can easily recognize them later on. Now EasyArt doesn't give you the recipe for these colors because they're specifically picked out of the design, so you have to mix these colors yourself. So as you're mixing the inks for this particular design, it's always a good idea to record everything you're doing for later, in case you have to do it again. Now that's the last one, is the dark grey. And I'm going to stop the routine there. EasyArt will continue on and let you select up to 18 different colors, but in this particular case we only need 9, so I'm going to stop the routine there. I'm just going to reset the button. You can see it's stopped on red. I'm just going to reset that button. Now we go to the channels list. Let's move that over that way a little bit so we can see a bit more of the image. If we go to the channels list, you can see EasyArt has created those separated channels. There's your white base. Black, we don't need the black, but EasyArt automatically creates a black channel. Highlight white, light skin, medium skin, dark skin, red, dark red, light grey, medium grey, and dark grey. So those are your print colors. We'll just turn all those on. Once again, I'll delete the black, we don't need that. I'll delete the highlight white. Up to you. You can print a highlight white if you have room on your machine. Sometimes it's a good idea. Now the reason why the background appears all white there is because the default shirt color for this routine is white. So just double click on the shirt color channel, change that to black, and that'll show you what it looks like on a black shirt. Now if we just quickly have a look at this, if we zoom in closely, you can see there's your square dot dithered pattern. If you have a look in the grays there, and as I said right at the beginning, you don't output this as halftones, you print it out exactly as it is, as you would any bitmap image. The square dots specifically is your halftone. And that's pretty much how the index routine works. You can crop the image to get rid of that white area at the top, up to you. And that's the index separation routine with EasyArt.